Luke Thomas here in Washington, D.C. at the press conference announcing an extension of the Cleveland Clinic brain study next to Senator John McCain. Senator, thank you for your time. I'll make this very brief. Why is a study like this important, and why do you think other sports are so resistant to it? You see a lot of the NFL just doesn't seem to be embracing it in the same way that combat sports are.
I don't know the reason for it, but it's almost shameful because we read and hear all about the problems with concussions, particularly in professional football. But yet there's nothing like this effort that's being done by the Cleveland Clinic, arguably the most respected medical institution in the world, that are taking on this effort. And it's going to be so important because one of the major things they'll do is provide early warning to these fighters. Look, every time I see Muhammad Ali, who lives in Scottsdale, Arizona, I say to myself, this kind of thing should never happen again. Now we're on the road to at least a significant prevention, and it's led by, not by the NFL, not by any of the other contact sports, but by boxing, and I'm kind of proud.
Are these promoters and these boxers, are they in the long run, by volunteering for these kinds of studies, could they be putting themselves out of business? I mean, it's the right thing to do. Health is the right cause, but is there a consequence in terms of what it could do to the business long term?
I'm not assuming that. What I am assuming is that maybe there is a time where fighters should stop. We all know, for example, I go back to Muhammad Ali, that rope-a-dope later on, in fact, one of his trainers argued strenuously that he should quit then. And so this would be those who participate in the sport, that if there is no sign of this damage, continue. If there is, then they'll get the early warning. I don't think it's a threat to martial arts or the sport of boxing, but I do think that it's like driving your car. If there's a red light, you stop. And what this really is a yellow light. It's a blinking yellow light that says, hey, you're starting to get too much damage. And that's why I think it's so important.
These are all volunteers here, Spike TV, Heyman Boxing, all the players.
Top rank also, yeah.
Sure, I don't want to exclude them either. For the people, for the sports who aren't volunteering for this, would Congress ever be interested in requiring that they take part in things like this?
I think we need to make sure that this is, first of all, we need to have hearings, but second of all, I think there's a strong argument that this should apply to every really serious contact sport, and I hope it doesn't require legislation. I would hope the people that run every sport and every major professional sport has a commissioner. It's the martial arts and boxing is the only one that doesn't, really, when you look at the overall supervision of the sport. So I hope they get the message, and I'll be one of the messengers.
Last question for you. Really appreciate your time today. A congressman from Oklahoma, Representative Mark Wayne Mullen, has at least suggested the idea of extending the Ali Act protections to mixed martial arts. He hasn't drafted legislation yet, but I guess in theory, is that something you'd support? Absolutely, and I've already heard that the martial arts people are inclined to support such a measure. Thank you for your time, Senator McCain. Appreciate it.
See you.